So in my last English lesson, I showed you how to end a question so that it sounds more polite. But a few of you asked, how do you start a question, Bob, so it sounds more polite? You didn't talk about that. So in this lesson, I'll do just that. I'll look at 5 different situations, 5 different times in your life where you might ask questions, and I'll show you exactly how to start those questions so they sound polite. The first situation where you might need to ask questions politely is when you want something. Imagine you're sitting in a restaurant, but you don't have menus. You want to order food, you're really hungry, but you don't have menus. You'll need to ask the server to bring you menus. And you could do that politely in the following 3 ways. You could say, could you bring us menus? You could say, I'd love it if you could bring us menus. Or you could say, would you mind bringing us menus? Be careful with that last one though, because the verb changes a little bit. You have to add ing to it. Would you mind bringing us menus? All 3 of those, in my opinion, are a very polite way to ask for something that you want. Could you, or I'd love it if you could, or would you mind? The next situation where you might need to ask polite questions is when you're asking for permission to do something. Imagine you're sitting in a classroom and it's really, really hot in the classroom and you want to open the window. You should ask the teacher before you do that, and here's how you would do it. You could say this, would it be okay if I open a window? Would you mind if I open a window? Or would it be all right if I open a window? All of those would be great polite ways to ask for permission to do something. There are many times in life where you might want to do something, but someone else has to tell you you're allowed to do it. You have to ask for permission. So those would be 3 great ways to do that. You can start your question with, would it be okay if, would you mind if, or would it be all right if? The third situation where you might need to ask polite questions is if you are wanting information. Imagine you are in a town and you are not familiar with that town and you need to find the bank. You could ask one of the following 3 polite questions. You could ask someone, could you tell me where the bank is? You could ask someone, do you know where the bank is? Or you could ask someone, would you happen to know where the bank is? All 3 versions of that question are very, very polite in my opinion. You might want to say, excuse me, before you ask it, but definitely if you were looking for the bank, you could say, excuse me, could you tell me where the bank is? Excuse me, do you know where the bank is? Or excuse me, would you happen to know where the bank is? The next situation where you might need to ask a question politely is one that I hope many of you are in the future, and that's when you are offering help. I always think it's a good idea when you see someone doing something hard, if you have time, to offer to help them. Imagine you're at work and someone is lifting and moving some heavy boxes. You could ask one of the following 3 questions. You could say, would you like some help? You could say, can I give you a hand? Or you could simply just say, can I help? All 3 of those would be a really nice way to let the person know you're willing to help them do that hard job. So if you go through your day today and you see someone that might need some help, you could ask one of those questions. Would you like some help? Can I give you a hand? Or simply, can I help? The next situation where you might want to ask polite questions is when you are making suggestions. And let's say Jen and I don't know what to make for supper. I could ask Jen one of the following 3 questions as a way to make a suggestion for what we should eat for supper. I could say something like this. How about we have pizza for supper? Why don't we have pizza for supper? Or if I wanted to be more formal, I could say, shall we have pizza for supper? That does sound really formal to me. So if you want to make a suggestion, you can do it in the form of a polite question by asking it in that way. You could say, how about we have pizza? Why don't we have pizza? Shall we have pizza? Well, hey, thank you so much for watching this short itty-bitty English lesson. I only had time to make a short one this week about how to start questions in a way that makes them sound more polite. If this is your first time here, don't forget to click that red subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and please do consider becoming a member of the channel. There's a join button below or a subscribe plus button, and for $1.99 a month, you get a whole lot of stuff. If you don't know what it all is, click the button and it will tell you, or look in the description below. It's well worth it in my opinion. Once again, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something that you can use in your next English conversation. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next week with a new English lesson. Bye.